Hello, I've just picked up a new frame. It's a MS Racing Pro Comp, the ancestor of Alpinestars. I've already had a few of these bikes, and I quite like generally the color scheme. The frame itself isn't amazing, but I just like the color, the paint job, the logos, etc. You can actually do something quite cool with this bike. Initially, I was thinking of putting this or donating it to the bike recyclery. I think it will be a bit of a shame though, because what they generally do is completely dismantle every single part, and there's fairly specific parts. Well, actually, the fork in question is kind of something I think shouldn't be dissociated with the frame, and that will probably happen if I bring it to the recyclery. So what I'm thinking of doing is trying to save it. The bike is actually pretty cool. I like the just the decor, the paint job and the logos on this, and so if you put a few colorful parts with it, it can actually look quite nice. So I'm going to try and break even. I'm going to probably spend around about 80 euros and then hopefully sell it for 80 euros, so someone will be able to enjoy it and I can make a video out of redoing this bike frame. Quite a lot of few things to redo on the bike. I'm thinking we're going to do a 1x8 or 1x9 depending on what cassette I find, and so that means we're going to be getting rid of the old horrible Biopace chain rings and installing a narrow wide chain ring at the front, which will simplify everything. And I mean, this bike's probably going to be used in the town anyway, and then we can just put a grip shift at the front and put some I don't know, some pink grips. I've seen someone do a build like that before and I thought that looked quite cool. Unfortunately, there's no longer the original stem. I don't know what happened to that. It had a very cool feature in that I think it had something like pivoting up and down here, like a seesaw for the braking at the front. But in any case, we're going to be going V-brakes on this, so we won't be we won't need that anymore. You will notice in the background that I have a Kona Syndicone and a Peugeot Grizzly. So I'm going to be doing these bikes, building them up simultaneously. It's going to help us reduce the costs, so nobody on the shipping, so for tyres and other parts. I haven't seen many like this, the back of bikes, at least not from this period. It's got this nice little cable guide stopper there for the brake at the back, kind of like a V shape. The headset is completely knackered. We're going to need a new one. What's going to happen next is I'm going to dismantle everything on this bike. We're then going to, I'll give you a rundown quickly on what I think should be put on here. And I mean, everything's going to take at least a few weeks, the time I gather all the parts and whatnot. And we're going to give this bike a new image. It looks like even the levers are no good. There's so much play in it, and I'm not going to be selling that to someone in that condition. It's not what Atboy's about. We want more cyclists on the road, not less. Some sickos put a arse saver onto the bike. It's attached to some Velcro. It doesn't belong here, and it will be the first thing that I'm going to toss into the bin. It's raining outside today, so we're going to get on with a mini project in between. Right, so this is the crank that we're going to be massacring. I got myself a nice tea since we're outside from the Euro shop. In the UK, the pound shop. The States, the dollar store. Now, I can't remember what it was called in the Deutschland, but they had something similar. Anyway, we're going to remove the chain rings, and we're going to start sanding down. Usually you can remove the chainring bolts without using the special tool to hold them at the back. Unfortunately, this one here is spinning, so, and maybe this one as well. Yes, spinning. That's good. Looks like two of the chainring bolts I can't get off even using the little keys, so I'm gonna have to get a more specialist tool to remove it. Much more hardcore. The last one was exceptionally hard to get rid of. So the aim here is not to have it like the most shiniest, amazing crank set, but I want it at least shiny on the surface where you can see the most visible. Makes it look more interesting. I thought this was going to be shiny like on the other YouTube videos I've seen. It's definitely better than it was before. Anyway, I'm a novice on this subject of polishing, so this will be better than the beginning. I just received the chainring. It looks really ugly in this position. Hopefully I can get it at the front. If not though, I'm going to order some kind of covers that you can get, bolts that flatten cover this up. It will look better than now. Just like the seat post, there's kind of like lots of microscopic scratches everywhere. It's definitely shinier, but you can kind of see them if you look closely. We're going to get rid of the old bottom bracket that was too long, and hopefully the shorter one will give us a better chain line with our single chainring at the front. Yeah, that one hasn't been out for at least 20 years. The rear stays were so ugly that I decided to repaint them. I'm going to resand now and do another layer of white. Hopefully that should be at least looking more presentable. It's going to be a long process today. We're going to add on, I've already put some white. I actually put a filler, primer, filler, and then I've added on a layer of this white, and I'm going to follow up with a translucent white to go on top of that, and then after some 1K lacquer varnish or whatever on the top to protect the paint. It's very cold and foggy outside. There's a snow, so the paint's going to take a very long time to dry. But I'm not going to wait the whole winter either before I finish this. So it's a few days later now. I ended up adding some blue as well in the corners. I felt like it was needed to hide some of the blemishes and scratches, chips on the paintwork, which had become extremely ugly. At least I've covered up most of it now. I just need to now add on some varnish or 1K clear coat to give it a bit of a protection. If you're wondering why the colour blue, it's because that's basically the spray paint I had left, but also the tyres and the cable housing are going to be blue, so they're going to be matching. So another little interesting fact for the chain line, especially with these square tapered bottom brackets, what I found out is that even though I had another bottom bracket from another manufacturer, same length, the drive side was a little bit longer, which actually ended up pushing out the chain line by about 2mm, and with this one I'm around about 46mm from the center of the tube to the chain ring, which is a little bit better. It's going to mean that I can have the chain ring on the outside instead of on the inside. So let's just go through everything that we're going to be using. I want to put a 9-speed cassette. It makes sense, 1x9. Got the chain, blue cable housing, pink handle grip, LX brakes, and we've already looked at the crankset. The cassette and the chain are bike shop bin fired, so they were for free. I don't know why they're being thrown away. They're in fantastic condition. It's just this bike shop just loves to throw away decent stuff. Only issue is going to be the shifter. I thought I had a LX 9-speed. Turns out I didn't. So we're going to just install the 8-speed one, and I'll swap it round later on. It's just I really want to get on with finishing this project. We're going to change the bar with something a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to keep the stem because it's actually extremely light. It's a sake. Obviously, the original stem is long gone. It was very interesting on the MS Racing ones. They had this tilting part right here. You know what, I'm going to just put regular bolts on these. It covers up that metallic part, and this is not necessary to have those specific screws that you'd have on the XT ones. I changed my mind with the levers. That angle there was making it look very messy. So for now, I think I'm just going to use these Diacompa power, whatever they're called, 7EXA levers instead. For now, anyway. I'm going to use this spare white brake lever housing, cable housing that I've got. It's by Shimano, so it's good stuff. I think I cut the wire too long. The cable housing is going to need to be shortened. Yeah, that's already better. I think what we might have to do is put something to hold this in place, make it look cleaner, because that's just unsightly. Interesting fact, there's a little difference between the chain rings, which I noticed wasn't really pointed out when I was reading about this. The chain, if you put it on a certain position, it won't go all the way down, and when you actually move it, it will actually seat properly. And a normal chain ring, you just put that on any tooth and it will seat, but here it didn't do that. That's obviously to keep it in place. I think we're going to end up spray painting this black, as it looks pretty ugly with the screw. Just need to clean that brown on the sides, but otherwise this looks cool and it goes with the colours. Unfortunately, last night it rained, and so now everything's wet, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get on with the job. I also managed to find a 9-speed shifter, so it looks like we'll be able to install that straight away. Not the prettiest, but it will work. It's a Dior M510, and at least it's 9-speed. I haven't done anything on the chain yet. I haven't shortened it, so I'm just giving it a test. I have no idea what I'm doing. On the largest sprocket at the back of the cassette, it looks like the derailleur's kind of stretched, but not too stretched. And at the smallest chainring, we're not too much slack. So I don't know if this is going to work. Let's just try it, I guess, and we can always shorten it if we need to. So we'll just remove one of these pins and then we can put a quick link inside. A quick test reveals that it's kind of working, but I feel like the chains are falling off once or twice. I'll try and capture that on video. Right, well, I didn't get it on the video, but it is. So I'm thinking to make this even tighter. So we're going to undo the links and we're going to shorten the chain. Two things. One, it's completely dry inside, and so it's obviously not going to be working as well as it could do. Second, we're going to put the spring onto the more tension part of the cage, and I think that's actually going to improve the shifting. So I've just given it a clean. It really needed to be cleaned inside. It was seriously dry. I've also now put the spring onto the other hole for the cage, and I can clearly see it's a lot more tensioned. So now I'm going to just reinstall it. I think I might need to actually try this on the road to actually see whether this works or not, instead of just testing it on a stand. So it's working, but Chainring is horrible at the back here. I'm thinking just going straight to plan B, which is a smaller 8-speed cassette, and give that a go. Don't ask me why, but changing the cassette to a, I don't know, for one it's a 32 instead of 32, so maybe the derailleur's maxing out. Chainring's not vastly improved, it just seems to be shifting better. I reckon what it could potentially be is just the spacing between the sprockets are a little bit larger on the 8-speed, and so it's not rubbing as much against the interior. I reckon even if I change the chain to a 9-speed chain, because I think this one's probably 8-speed, it would also improve the chain line. And that, my friend, is cheapo Chinese stuff. Barely sticking on. These brake pads are going to be changed. The ones at the rear especially are completely worn. I'm just going to keep the red cool looking ones for the video, and then I've got some black ones that I will be replacing. Here I am putting a brake tyre to stop this cable from sticking out. There are cleaner options, but I don't have them, so we're going to be just doing this. I am satisfied with the final results. It looks very, very retro. We're going to go and have a test ride. I might wait until it's sunnier though, and then we can do the final adjustments. Oh. And she's fast. Really fast. I like it. Oh, she loves it. I've chosen the most triste day to film this on. Doesn't matter though. It became in the end a bit of a gay pride bike somehow. This sticker's absolutely useless. I'm taking it off. What do you want? Go and get Dad's. Hurry up and go. Overall, I'm quite happy with the bike. I spent maybe €70 overall, something in that region, to put it into this state. Probably saved it from the bin. This one's actually going to most likely become a present for a friend, and it's kind of his size as well, so I think he'll be quite happy with it. There's a few things to finish, clean, but we've come to the end. So I wish everyone a happy Christmas, happy New Year, happy Hanukkah, and until next time. Peace out.